most people start their week on Monday. My situation is a little different. Probably can't see me, but I just love Apple products because my phone knows my proclivities. It knows where I go, when I go. It knows what time, how long it's going to take me to get to the place that I am accustomed to going every morning. One of the biggest problems that I have is that I have retained bad habits for a long time. And the result is I have been on this yo-yo diet. And, it's a challenge when you've been, you know what to do. You know the right things to do. But yet you still don't do those right things. Anyone who has an interest in modifying their weight, enhancing their image, improving their self-esteem, just doing what they need to do. You really need to look at the behaviors and the habits that you formed over the course of your life. Now, I want to make sure you understand. When you saw that notification that my phone showed me that it would take me 7 minutes to get from my home to Wingstop, it's not that I was going to Wingstop at 5 o'clock, 5:45 in the morning. It's just that where I park, in front of Wingstop, and my gym is right next door. So to make sure that you understand and that you believe me, let me show you. That's Wingstop, and that's my gym. There are 10 things that you can do to actually change your bad behavior or your bad habits. And I'm going to go through that while I do my workout. I work out early in the morning, and one of the reasons that I do is because I formed this habit a long time ago. When my children were young, I had to wake up really early in the morning because they didn't go to a neighborhood school. They had to go to a school that was a relatively far distance from the house. So in order for me to get them to school on time, I had to actually wake up early and drive them to school. So if I wanted to do a workout early in the morning, I had to go and be back in time to take a shower and then have them to school on time. So that's what I did. And I formed this habit, and this is something that I've stuck with for more than 20 years. Let me be the first to admit, changing habits is really hard. It's not going to be something that's easy. And quite candidly, it's something that you may, have a predilection toward just saying, no, I like what I'm doing now, and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing First thing that you need to do is identify the bad habits that you want to change and actually write those habits down and actually do the work to actually change those bad habits. So again, a plan is not a plan until you write it down. So if you identify the bad habits first, I think that's probably the best and most effective approach to get you started to changing your bad behavior or bad habits. The next thing that you need to do is get rid of the temptations, the things that cause you to have those bad habits. And what that simply means is that if you're stressed out, if you eat when you're stressed out, then obviously you can't get rid of all of your food, but at least get rid of the bad foods that you typically reach for when you are nervous or you're upset or stressed out. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is add something unpleasant, not pleasant, but unpleasant to the habit. What you need to do is, instead of having a positive incentive for doing the bad behavior or the bad habit, give yourself something negative. So if you perform the bad habit, for example, eating when you're not supposed to eat, you need to get up and go walk outside. This one is just like the last one. What you do is you replace the bad habit with a good habit. Now, the next thing that you may want to do is stay vigilant. This really works in hand with the last two things that I spoke with you about. The first one is that you, after doing performing one of your bad habits, you actually do something that's unpleasant. And then instead of doing the habit itself, you do something that occupies your mind. This one says that you stay vigilant even though you have those habits. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is change up your routine. If you're accustomed to going home after work, sitting on the couch and eating popcorn and potato chips, instead of doing that after work, go for a walk before you go home. The next thing you can do is reward yourself. After you've not done that habit for a day or a week or a month or whatever, you give yourself something to reward the change in habits that you've done. Some people call it meditation. I call it prayer. There's an old saying, and I know I'm gonna get it wrong. And it says, when you make a habit of praying, God makes a habit of sending his blessings or his favor or whatever. When you pray, when you meditate consistently, and you form a habit of doing that, there's a good chance that the things that you're praying for will be realized. The next thing that you may want to do is seek help. And I'm not talking about from a professional. Now that's the next one. But seek help from people in the form of a coach, someone who's a family member or friend. Now, this is the last one, and I think this is a very important one. And I think, there are times when you just can't break a habit. There are people who smoke, there are people who drink, there are people who do a lot of things that are maybe harmful to them. And most times they can't do it by themselves. They can't rely on a family or friend. Even going to God doesn't help. So sometimes you may need a professional to help you with that situation. Now, we don't claim to be professionals, but what we are is we have been on the yo-yo cycle. We have been healthy, we've been fat, we've been all of those different things. So we have a support group at Ricky Keys. Well, it's at rickykeys.com, but it's also at Keto Life or whatever, I'll provide a link below this video that you could use to get into our Facebook group. It's a private group that provides support and assistance and encouragement. We are interested in helping you to address the challenge that you have from getting from the weight that you are to the weight that you want to be. So feel free to join our private Facebook group, and we will be there to support you in any way that we can. Now, before I end this video, I love to end it with a positive and encouraging word. I always say that I just have really one word. There are things that you can change about yourself. There are things that you cannot change about yourself. Only focus on the things that you can change. You can't change what the weather is. You can't change, how people treat you. You can't change how people feel about you. You can't change any of that. The only thing that you can change is you. So hang in there, and we'll see you the next time.